Hi, I'm the creator of Glyph tools for the Nothing phones, and I'm going to show you how you can take your own music you like and create a light show and import it into the Nothing Glyph Composer and use it as a ringtone or notification tone. So first of all, what can you do with it? You can control all the glyphs on the Nothing phone 1 and 2. And people with Nothing phone 2 even have the possibility to control individual zones, which the phone 2 has 33 of. If I scroll down here for a moment, you can see that the Nothing phone 2 in this glyph and this glyph has individual zones. That means you can turn part of this glyph on, for example, or this glyph. So let's get started. First of all, what do you need? You need either a Linux, Windows or Mac computer, and you need Python to run the scripts. You can download Python if you click on the link and download it right here with the yellow button. You need ffmpeg and ffprobe. Most of the time, if you download ffmpeg, you get ffprobe with it. So just head to the download site, select your operating system, for example, Linux or Windows, and get either an installer which installs it to your system, but make sure if you install it to a system to add it to the path. Most installers have a check mark, so you can use it via the command line. And if you don't feel comfortable installing it, you can download a zip file which contains ffmpeg and ffprobe, and you can pass the path of ffmpeg and ffprobe to the scripts later. And last but not least, we need Audacity. This is to make our lives much easier. To get started, we need to first get the scripts, and we can do that two ways. First way, if you're comfortable with Git or the command line, you can clone the project, or if you don't feel comfortable enough, I would suggest you download the archive. Here's the link for it. So we'll just download and then you can extract it and get the scripts that way. For this tutorial, I've prepared an empty folder where I've put the music I want to make the composition with, and I've extracted the zip archive here, and here are the two main scripts we're going to use. But first, we need to install a requirement which the scripts need. And for that, we will execute the command which is on the GitHub right here. This is going to install the Python requirements for the scripts. Sometimes it's pip free, sometimes it's just pip. Try it out what works for you. And it's going to say that I've already satisfied the requirement because I've already done that. When you get your music, it might not be the right length. So to get it to the right length, we can open it in Audacity and just select what the parts we don't want and press the delete key and remove the parts. And to make the fade in and fade out a little bit more smoother, we can select the parts and go to effects, fading, make a fade in or fade out. This is the part I want to map. And first of all, you need to go to tracks, add new, and the label track. The label track we are going to use to mark a portion of audio, then press Ctrl and B key at the same times, and it will insert a label. And in order for us to know how we need to name the label, we need to look into the README. We need to follow this handy flowchart to know in which mode we are making our composition. Because in one mode you can use some features, and in the other mode you can use in the phone 2 mode, you can use a little bit more. So first of all, which phone do we have? I only have the phone 1, so I will only make a composition in compatibility mode. And if you have a phone 2, you can decide if you want to make it compatible with phone 1. And if so, you're also using compatibility mode, else you are going to use phone 2 mode. And if you've decided yourself, you can skip to the right section using these two links. Now that we know what mode we are in, this is the general naming scheme. So we have a hashtag symbol, the glyph ID, which is dependent on the mode, The light level we want to start from, this is in percent from 0 to 100. The light level we want the glyph to go to, and which interpolation mode we want to use. We have 3 modes available currently: the linear interpolation mode, exponential, and logarithmic. If you want to know what these 3 mean, you can open the Desmos graph, which I've provided, where you can see if you provide a from light level and to light level value and the delta time in which time it should interpolate, you can see the 3 curves. We have the compatibility mode. Therefore, we have glyph ID 1 to 5, which you can also see here in this image. What's also important for the compatibility mode, which is also stated here, you cannot use the hashtag symbol because this is only used when you want to control one of the 33 zones of the phone 2. In phone 2 mode, you have 11 glyphs, all the 11 glyphs of the phone 2, and with the hashtag symbol, you can directly address the zones, which also enables you to control the individual zones in the battery top right glyph and in the USB line glyph. So now that I know that I want the second glyph to be on at the beginning 100% and go to 0%. If you don't write anything else, so leave it at that, the script will assume that you want a linear interpolation, but you can also specify it explicitly. So now the second glyph, which is the diagonal one, will go from 100% to 0%. What you can also do to create labels is you can click somewhere in the audio, press Ctrl B, and then drag it. I would suggest you mark the audio and then press Ctrl B. And then type in what glyph again, from what level to what level, and what interpolation mode. Just to give you an idea what you could do if you are in phone 2 mode, you could go up to the glyph ID 11, and you could also prepend the hashtag symbol and talk to the zones directly, as you can see in this image. If you want to add another label, which should be exactly this on the same position and exactly the same length as this one, you can either click on this part and then press Ctrl B again on your keyboard, or you can hover over the audio and you will see that your mouse cursor gets catched here and get also catched at the end. Then you can also press Ctrl B and add another label. If you want to see all the labels you have placed so far, you can go to Edit, Labels, Edit Labels. Then you will have a list of all your labels and what they are doing at what start time and end time. This is also where you could tweak the start and end time to be more precise than just with your mouse cursor and your eyes. So this is my finished result for now. As you can see, I've placed many more labels. So for example, I've also used the logarithmic modes and just placed labels which are not ranged. These are just for 16 milliseconds on. What's really important is that you place at the end of the audio a label called end, so the script knows how long the audio is. When you're done with your composition, you need to export your audio and your labels. First, the audio. To export the audio, you need to go to File, Export, Export Audio. Important, you select the Opus codec and change the extension from Opus to OGG. You can leave all the other format options on default settings and just press Save. If this dialog pops up, that's okay. Just press Yes. This dialog, just click OK. And next, our labels. Go to File, Export, Export Labels, and then just save them. Now we're finished in Audacity. You can save your project, which I would recommend at the start of making your project. So you can make modifications later or share your glyph composition with another friend of yours who can also make some modifications to it. This was already the hard part. Now you can use my scripts to save your labels you made to the audio file. But first we need to convert them to the right format. To do that, I need a console window. Then we convert the labels to the glyph format. Python 3, the GlyphTranslater, and pass to the GlyphTranslater the labels file. If you are using the compatibility mode, then just ignore this information. If you're using the font mode, then please append this option to the arguments at the end or before the labels file. So now you've got 2 more files. If you open all 3 of them real quick, we can see that this is our labels file. This is what we exported from Audacity. We can see the starting time, end time, and the text we wrote. And this is the converted glyph format. We need both these files and we will write them to the audio. So to do that, we still need Python and GlyphModder. Then we can give our masterpiece a title. And if you're using spaces, don't forget to wrap it in quotes. Then we'll pass the W argument with our 2 glyph format files. Last but not least, our music file. We exported from Audacity. And if we did everything right, it should write the glyph A and glyph C files to the audio file. If you want to confirm that, you can use ffmpeg and pass the music file. And it should spit out something like this, with a bunch of data, the author tag, a little bit of data, and the composer tag, custom 1 tag, and the composer tag. And here's our title, which is specified. Congratulations, you are now done. You have your finished music file. And if you transfer it to your phone and import it via the Glyph Composer and play it back, you will see your composition come to life. After you've transferred your composition to your phone, make sure you at least have 1 recording, or else this button here at the top left won't work. Click import and choose our transferred audio file. After you've successfully imported it, you can click on your imported audio and watch your show. If you still have questions after this, feel free to reach out to me on Discord at CBIE, which is also mentioned here in the README, right here. If you encounter an error, please look at the troubleshooting section first before contacting me. And if you want to know more about how this whole glyph system works, you can scroll to the bottom where I've written the technical details, which you can expand and read about the metadata and how everything comes together.